Have you ever had this happen? You're just walking down the street, minding your own business, not even remotely thinking about smoking, and then you see someone light up. And bam, out of absolutely nowhere, this massive urge just hits you. It's so powerful, right? Almost automatic. Well, today, we're going to pull that exact moment apart. We're going to deconstruct that powerful visual trigger and figure out why, when it comes to cravings, seeing really is believing.
Right, that instant, unwanted craving. It's a feeling that so many of us know all too well. You could be having the best day, completely caught up in something else, and then one simple little sight can totally hijack your brain. So, let's get into it and pull apart what's really happening in that split second.
And that's the craziest part, isn't it? The craving is completely unprompted. It's not like you're stressed out, you don't smell any smoke. It's purely visual. One second you're feeling great, and the next, you're in the middle of this intense internal battle. So yeah, why the sudden urge? That's the big question here. If it's not a physical need kicking in at that exact moment, where on earth does this powerful command to smoke come from? What is actually going on under the surface?
Well, on the surface, it looks like a pretty classic habit loop. It seems simple enough, right? First, you have the cue. You see someone smoking. That immediately triggers the craving, that little voice that says, I want one too. Then comes your response. You either light up or you dig in and fight the urge. And finally, you get the reward, that temporary feeling of, satisfaction. Seems logical, but as we're about to see, this is only half the story.
So let's peel back another layer here. We just assume that whole loop is about a physical need for nicotine. But what if the source of that incredibly powerful urge isn't chemical at all? What if it's something else entirely?
Think about it. In that instant, you saw that person take a drag, your brain processed it, and something definitely got triggered. But the real question is, was it your body's addiction network firing up? Or was it your mind's library of old memories? And this right here is the absolute key. The common belief, the illusion, is that your body is screaming for a nicotine hit. But the psychological truth? Oh, it's so much more fascinating. Your mind isn't asking for nicotine. It's just playing a greatest hits collection of old feelings that you've tied to smoking. So you see, what you're actually craving in that moment isn't the smoke itself. It's not the nicotine. You're craving a recorded feeling. You're craving that memory of relief after a long day, or that feeling of comfort. Maybe it's the sense of identity you had as a smoker, or that feeling of belonging you got when you were in a group. Your brain is literally chasing an old ghost.
You know, this whole process actually has a name. It's called conditioned association. It's this super powerful psychological mechanism where a totally neutral cue, like just the sight of a cigarette, gets hardwired in your brain to a really powerful emotional response. It's the exact same trick advertisers use to make you connect a can of soda with pure happiness or a car with a feeling of freedom.
And here's where it gets really interesting. This conditioned association, it wasn't some happy accident. Oh no, it was carefully, meticulously engineered over decades, especially after traditional cigarette ads got taken off the air. So after the big ad bans came down, the industry didn't just pack up and go home. They got smart. They pivoted. As you can see, they shifted to a much subtler strategy, media placement. Suddenly, smoking was everywhere, in movies, in the hands of the coolest characters, the most beautiful models. The goal wasn't to sell you a product directly anymore. The goal was to build a story around it, to link the physical act of smoking with these really powerful ideas like confidence or relaxation or being part of the in-crowd.
So, because of all that conditioning, when you see someone light up now, your brain doesn't just register, oh, a person with a cigarette. No, it accesses this huge library of personal and cultural memories. It pulls up files that say things like, that used to be me, or that's how I used to calm down, or even, hey, I deserve a break like that too.
And this really boils it all down to one simple but really profound idea. That instant craving you feel, it's not your body asking for something. It's your mind remembering something. It's a mental echo, not a physical demand.
Once you get this, it totally reframes that whole internal conversation you have. The illusion whispers in your ear, hey, you're missing out. You're being left out of something good. But the truth? The truth tells a much more empowering story. It says, you're not missing a single thing. You just had a brief encounter with a past version of yourself.
Okay, so that's the what and the why. We get that the trigger is a mental illusion. But how do you actually break its power? Well, the good news is you don't have to fight it with brute force. There's a much simpler and frankly more effective way to take back control. Now, this is going to sound way too simple, maybe even a little weird, but it is incredibly powerful. Our natural instinct is to fight the craving, right? To push it away, to resist. But all that struggling just gives it more energy. The alternative? Become a curious scientist. Just watch it. Notice it's there, without judgment.
So the next time it happens, just pause for a second and ask yourself this first question. Okay, what exactly is being triggered right now? Is it my body or is it just a memory? Just asking that question immediately creates a little bit of space. It shifts you from being a participant in the drama to being an observer of it.
Then, you can dig a little deeper with the second question. Ask yourself, do I really crave the cigarette itself, or do I crave the, pause, it represents? This helps you deconstruct that association. Are you really yearning for tobacco, or are you just wanting a 5-minute break from work, an excuse to step outside and breathe? A lot of the time, the object itself isn't what we truly want.
And finally, you can get right to the heart of the identity piece with this one. Ask, do I miss the act of smoking, or do I just miss the version of me who used to smoke? This separates the habit from nostalgia. Maybe you're not missing the thing at all. Maybe you're just feeling a little flicker of memory for a younger you, or a you from a different time and place.
When you practice this kind of observation, you'll start to notice something amazing. A craving behaves just like a wave in the ocean. It'll start to rise, and your mind will react for sure. It will build and build until it hits its peak. But if you just watch it, without fighting it, without feeding it, you'll see it start to fade. And then it just disappears, naturally, all on its own.
Which brings us to the ultimate takeaway here. The power was never in the cigarette. It was never in the object itself. The power was always in the story, in the memory, in the conditioned association that we and our culture attach to it. The cigarette was just a prop in a much, much bigger mental play.
And once you truly see the illusion for what it is, I'm telling you, everything changes. You shift from a state of automatic, helpless reaction to one of conscious, calm observation. And in that tiny little space between the trigger and your response, that's where you find your freedom.
So the next time you see that puff of smoke and that old, familiar echo pops up in your mind, just remember what you know now. It's not a command from your body that you have to obey. It's just a memory playing on an old loop. And once you see the trick, the magician loses all his power. So the real question is, now that you see the illusion, who's in control?